this is what is preoccupying the minds of everyone right now, either in Egypt or worldwide. But specifically in Egypt, because this time, unlike before, the crisis is too complicated in many ways, because it's, in a sense, it's a compounding crisis. It's not new. It's not made by the COVID or by the Russia war, Russia-Ukraine war, but these events, these recent global events, enhanced a crisis that has been in place since the 1960s or even 1950s in Egypt. I call it the chronic crisis of the Egyptian economy. So right now we are facing this challenge of we are at a crossroad. So the two crises that came after each other, the COVID-19 and then the Russia-Ukraine war, they put Egypt at a crossroads. So now you have either to deal with this chronic crisis and solve it for good and start a whole new macroeconomic system, or you just turn a blind eye to what's going on and keep going on like this, and sooner or later this will lead to the collapse of the macroeconomic system and the entire political stability issue that we have been trying to keep for a while. Military is, I would call it like the backbone of the Egyptian state, both politically and economically. In other words, the civilian government here in Egypt cannot do without the military being involved as a safety net or a backer, I would say, in both politics and economy. Of course, like from a democratic point of view, this is completely wrong and should it change one day if we really want Egypt to become a democratic country. But the issue is, are we ready for this now? Unfortunately, no. The economic reforms that the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is currently requesting are very tough on the Egyptian market, and I mean like the merchants and the manufacturers, and so as much as they are very heavy on the Egyptian people. And the only entity in the country that have an autonomous economic system of its own that is not affected by what's happening in the market is the military. And they have enterprises that can fill the gap between what the government, the civilian government can offer and what the people need. Of course, this question came to the minds of many observers and analysts of, okay, will the Egyptians go out again against el-Sisi to protest his policies? Actually, I'm talking to you, I'm inside Cairo right now, and from what I'm seeing is that people are, throughout the past 10 years, we have gone through a lot, including political transitions and lack of security and stability at certain times, and now with the economic crisis. So I think the people are very much in a case of fatigue that may not prepare them to take such an action. I'm speaking about like generally, like the general mindset in the street is that, yes, we know we are suffering and it's not good. Many people completely disagree with the policies of the government, especially in the economic part of the equation, you know, but they are making this compromise. Like if we go to the street now and make a protest, this will lead to chaos again, and the chaos will lead to more economic trouble and more economic complications, and will take another 10 years to get over these complications. So they are waiting to see what the government can really do with this crisis. So I don't think they may come out anytime soon. Also, if you look, who does, if we look at least in the past protests that happened over the past 10 years since the Arab Spring up till now, who makes protests in Egypt? It's not the poor. It is always the middle class. The middle class, the educated, the employees, the bureaucrats, are the ones who come out to the streets and make real protests that make real change. Like if you speak to me now, the middle class is very depressed in many ways. One of them, of course, is economic, as we are speaking about the economic part here, but also another part is political, because like we had like these high hopes about a more democratic country, a more freedom, more human rights, or better performance by the government on human rights, and unfortunately, until today, we are still struggling with the same issues we have been struggling with 10 years ago regarding freedom of speech, human rights, democratization. And even when, changes happen and things like open up a little bit, they get closed again by economic crisis or security issues like fighting against terrorism. But hopefully, people will keep pressing in a positive way, not in a destructive way, to make this happen in the future. But this also takes us again to the point that, well, you can advocate for, democracy, human rights, and so in a country that's stable with good economy.